Hi everybody. So today we're going to be completing the first 50-hour service on the Case IH75C. As you can tell, this tractor is dirty. I have not had any running water up here yet, still don't have it. We've brought some in some tanks, but we've not taken the time to clean this thing up. I wiped this down, but you can see it is just covered. So I can't wait to get it cleaned up and keep it that way. We've got a little over 50 hours on this thing, and I've not checked the radiator liquid level. And it says here, check it as needed. So I would say it's needed. I should check it. So I'm gonna give that a quick check. All right, so we're gonna come in from this angle here. There's that line right down there. And it looks like that my antifreeze is in perfect line with that. You can see the yellowish, greenish color in there. What do I know? I'm colorblind. So let's confirm that that's what it says on the book. Line 2 max. And it says here, top of the coolant, conventional coolant, blah, blah, blah. It says the coolant level when the engine is cold must always comply with the reference mark number 2. That's exactly where it's at. Sweet. So we're gonna jump straight over to the greasing section. By the way, I put the cap back on the radiator fill area, little tank there. So that's set. And I have recently greased the loader. And every 50 hours, I am to do these items. I believe I've done the rear. But what I don't believe I've done is started with the, I don't think I've done anything with the mechanical lift yet. The axle, steering knuckle, I know I haven't done that. Let's see what else we've got. The front axle grease pivot point, the steering cylinder, and then that's the air conditioner cleaning. That's every 100 hours, so we won't have to do that one today. So let's begin with the greasing. I have my trusty Ryobi grease gun here that you guys have seen me use before. It is awesome. Really like this thing. What I don't know is how much grease is still in here. So we will see if we have to change this out while we're in the middle of greasing this tractor. We'll go ahead and locate these and get going on it. I am a little embarrassed of how dirty the back of this tractor is back here at the 3-point hitch and the hydraulics, but yeah, I just if I remember correctly, the last time I cut, it began to pour down rain. I got this thing in the garage. Like I said, I've got no water here, so no cleanup happened. I remember what also happened. I forgot my leaf blower, which is what I've been using to blow this thing down, get all the dust off of it prior to parking it. So let's get these grease points uncovered here. And the other one is right here. That's got a little cap on that one that needs to go on there. So we'll start with these two and we'll get these greased up nice and we'll move on. Let's see if we've got any grease left in this gun. So let's pop this thing on there and give it a whirl. All right, got grease coming out all over the place. That's good. Let's pop this one on. Perfect. That's a lot of grease. Check out the light. This gun actually shoots the light on while you're doing it so you can see. That's always helpful for sure. Before we move on, let's get this grease wiped off here. From what I understand, you certainly don't want to leave any excess grease because it gives all that dust and dirt a great place to go and stick. And that is true, no doubt about it. You can already see that happening. Well, I just popped off my little red cap. I don't see that little red cap anywhere else on this tractor except for right here. So interesting. But she's back on there. We'll see how long that lasts. All right, so this one is the rear hitch grease mechanical lift. It's the rear hitch. We're gonna grease the mechanical lift. So that looks like the hydraulic inlets there. There must be a grease point right over to the right of the right side, it looks like. So I'll tell you, if nothing else, this video will show you that you, as a person who may have never messed with tractors before, if I can do it, you can do it. You've heard that saying, and that's definitely the case here. So I see only 2 of these hydraulic inlets here on each side. So those are called remotes, of course, but I'm looking for that grease point that they're talking about, and I'm not sure exactly if I'm looking in the right place. So I'm gonna go back to the book and see, but what do I see right here? There it is, right there in the center. And what do you know, I've got another little red cap. So let's set that thing up here, and let's go back and see if that's what they're talking about. That's got to be it, I would imagine, right there in the center of that. Let's see. All right. It's right above the center arm, it looks like. So yeah, right above that upper arm. That's where we're at. So let's grab this grease gun. Let's make it happen. That's cool. We found it, guys. We found it. I think dropping this arm may just give us a lot more room. Before we grease that, let's wipe it off. Let's wipe it down. Grab this towel again. Okay. It's just dirty up in there. Get it all cleaned off the best we can. I'm assuming we're going to see grease shoot out all over around the edges of this pivot point. From what I understand, you guys, greasing is one of the most important things that you can do to take care of your tractor. So I'm sure that there'll be no arguments with that. So that's one thing we're going to stay on top of, and that's why I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and purchase a grease gun. It's going to make my life as easy as possible, and I hope I made the right choice. You guys can tell me in the comments what you think regarding this grease gun here. But let's pop it on. Pop that on there real good. All right, I'm gonna hold the camera in the same hand that I'm holding this hose on with, and we're gonna start squirting. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna set this down, put a little bit more force, because I see grease coming all around the fitting, but I don't see it coming out anywhere else just yet. So hang in there with me a moment. Oh, I just put a lot of force on this and held that trigger, and then I could see the grease popping out over here and over here. Like, for example, you can see all that right there, right? At first it just started coming out around there, and I was holding it pretty tight, but obviously not nearly tight enough. So let's get that off, and we definitely have some cleaning up to do now, so bear with me. All right, let's see if we can clean that big old pile of grease off. What a waste. Gotta figure out a way not to let that happen. All right, next item, we're going to grease up the axle articulation. So it says, using the gun, pump the grease into the 2 lubrication fittings shown. So we got 2 fittings. Now, to me, this looks like it's obviously under one of the axles, or close to it on each side of the axle. And it is the axle articulation, so that would make all the sense in the world. But is it the front or the rear? Let's see. Based on the way that diagram looks, I'm going to assume it's either the front or the rear. But we're going to look at the front first and see if we can find it. All right. And if we can't, guess what? We're going to go to the rear. I do remember, though, that red cap. So you guys are not supposed to let me forget things like this. And there it lays. We didn't put the red cap back on this fitting. There's the fitting, all pretty and clean. And there's the cap going on it right now. Let's go ahead and raise this up too while we're at it. Perfect. All right. So I brought a trusty piece of plastic that's normally used for picking up leaves on the lawn. And there's that big old oil filter right there. I'm gonna climb under here, and doggone it if my flashlight's not going dead. This thing is normally so bright, but because of that, it's got to be charged quite often. It's an awesome light. I think it puts off about 1700 lumens, which will blind you. And if you're shining it directly at something that you're working on, it reflects back and you can barely see what you're doing. So it might be a blessing that this thing is actually going a little bit dim on us. No, that's just too dim. So based on looking under here, oh look, I found a grease point already. And then do we have one up here? Check it out, you guys. We found it. Let's get out from under here. Let's grab the lube gun. Let's get the camera up here. See if you can see this point. Okay, let's go ahead and set you down and just begin squirting in it. Dang it. It's like it coming out on the... Okay, there's some coming out right there. I guess that's where it comes from, the front of this thing. That's probably where the new grease should be popping out, and it looks like some of the old grease has got pushed out because of the new grease. So we're gonna wipe this off. We're gonna wipe that off the front here and get a little bit more, and we're gonna pop this off. Okay, so we took care of that one. Where was this one? I spotted it first a while ago, so it's easy to see. Oh, I'm on the other side of it. It's right under here. So let's get this one next. Let's pop the bring the gun over this way. I'm gonna need my light again. I'm gonna pop this on. Let's come in from this side. And push it on. Gonna have to set you down a second. All right, so shining this light here. This is on good. We're going to... I really don't see where any grease came out except for around the fitting. But we're going to try it again. I'm going to hold this even tighter, if I can do that any tighter. Well, I feel the pressure in the hose like it's backing up, so it's got to be going somewhere in there. Let's get this off. I'll tell you what, being in tight spots like this, it's really good having a gun that you can just simply mash the trigger and do it. Get all this excess off here if we can, most of it. And I just don't see where any grease popped out. Oh, I do see a little bit over here. I'll show you that in just a moment. And I'm assuming that's new that's come out here. I mean, it's not a new grease. It looks like old grease, but that means that the new grease has went in there and pushed it out a little bit, and I will take it. So, of course, there's the fitting right there, and then around on this side, you can see right there that old grease coming out. So, I guess it's doing its job, but that's what I'm going to really need to pay attention to and make sure that it definitely always gets in there. So let's pop these covers back on, do that one up front. But let's get out and let's see where the next point that we need the grease is located. Now look here, I already see some spots under this axle, so we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm assuming both sides, yep. So while I'm here, whether it says to do it or not on the first 50 hours, we're going to do it. I think I read that it's to be done, but who knows? Who cares? Let's just do it anyway. All right. Give me a moment. Trying to get you set up. I hope you can see. Let's see here. So there was a lot of places where there is the little red caps on my case. All right. There it is. Ready? Here we go. Oh yeah, look at all that grease coming out up here. Hopefully you can see that. All that's brand new, and boy, it looks thin. It's pretty thin compared to the new grease. But we got some coming out, so that's a good thing. All right, let's pop this off. Now I've already, as you know, I already threw my towels out there, so I'll have to come back down and wipe those. Let's go over here and do the other one while we're down here. All right. There it is. I'm gonna put that on. Now what I hope you can see is this area up here, because that's where the grease is gonna come out, right in here I think. So let's give it a go. Oh yeah, it came out all up in that area. So let's find the light. Yeah, you can see where it's coming out up there. All those spots. All right, so hey, check this out. This next item to grease is the steering knuckle. And this is what the diagram looks like. It looks like this is where the wheel attaches, and then something comes up. You can see the steering, I don't know, I don't know what you call that. You can see the bar that controls the steering here. And it's showing that there's a fitting right there. Well, I'm not seeing that on the tractor. What I am seeing is, I'm seeing a grease fitting right on top there. Same thing on the other side. So we're gonna go ahead and grease that. And I'll just have to go to my dealer, take the book and ask them if they can show me on a tractor that's sitting in their, on their lot, and see if they can show me. They've been very helpful. All right. So let's pop this off. Let's lock it on. Again, I'm gonna set you down. My apologies, but I can only do what I can do. You know what I mean, guys? So yeah, that went in well. You can see where the grease came out down there around the whole perimeter of this section here. Get a towel. Gonna wipe that off. Oh, for those of you who don't like little critters, apparently spiders just love tractors. Love hanging out here, especially when it's set for a few weeks or a few days. Yeah, look at all that old grease I got out of there. So that pushed all that old grease out, put new grease in. I would assume that's what you want to see. Sounds smart to me. All right, we're gonna take this towel, get a little bit more of it. It's probably all deep in there. Never get all that out. It's gonna just collect dirt and dust, and don't know when you can actually get that out to the level that you need to. Let's do the other side. All right. Not sure what you can see and what you can't, but we're about to hit this point as well. Okay. Yeah, there's some grease that popped out. That's great. Fantastic. You can see right around there, there's the old grease coming out. So we'll get some towels, we'll wipe that down, and we will call that part done, hoping that that is indeed the steering knuckle. Looks nothing like the diagram. Probably isn't the same thing, but hey, it needed some grease anyway, right? But it may have been the right thing. Let's wipe this puppy down. Oh yeah. Look at that, look at that. Oh, that's gorgeous. I have a feeling this is an area that really needs attention all the time. Seeing how dirty that grease is just tells me that we need to keep some good stuff in there on a regular basis. All right, let's take a little bit more and let's clean off that fitting. And we'll put that little red cap right back where she goes. It's funny, as I'm talking to you, it makes me think of one of my all-time favorites, Bob Ross. I wish I had that calm demeanor and that awesome voice and the skill, but when I was in the Air Force, it was back in the I'll date myself here a little bit, but it was in the late 80s, early 90s. And VCRs, that was the thing, right? Now, today, you can go on an app and you can watch Bob Ross day and night and watch all the paintings. What I would do is I would take a VCR and I would throw a tape in there and I would record all the episodes if I was at work, if I was on the flight line. But when I would come back, I would set my easel up. I even made myself in shop a plexiglass easel. It was the identical template of his, but it was for a left-handed person instead of a right-handed, because I'm a lefty. And so I would set up my easel, I would turn on the video, and I would paint some amazing landscapes. Put a little happy tree here, and a little bird, looks like it goes there. Anyway, he's cool to listen to. You should check him out if you haven't done so. If you don't know who Bob Ross is, you're missing out. But it's awesome to watch. But yeah, I really don't remind myself of him. I wish I did. I need the hair, the bushy hair. You'll love Bob Ross. Anyway, let's look at the book and see what our next item is for greasing. Here we go. Okay, so let's flip the page. We know we did that. All right, this says the front axle. Now, that, I believe I did that. Again, I may be mixing these up a little bit. This is the steering cylinder. I'm not sure that I did that. I'm gonna let that light charge a little bit more, and then we'll get under there and see. But let's see if that's what I did by accident, thinking it was something else. After those two, and maybe whatever I might have missed, we have greased everything for the first 50 hours, and every 50 hours it has, a lot of these have to be greased, not all of this. But yeah, here's my thing is, if you can follow a manual a little bit, these diagrams aren't the best, these explanations aren't the best, obviously, but if you can follow a manual, and then what you can't figure out, if you'll ask questions of those people who do know, then you can make it happen. You can do it yourself. I actually contacted the dealer, the local dealer here. I asked them about certain items that's on this first 50-hour checklist. If they do it, for example, calibrating the transmission, the clutches in the transmission. I said, do you guys really do that? Is that something that, because I don't know how to do that. I would have to read up on it, figure it out. Or is that something that I really don't need to worry about? They said they don't really do that unless there's a problem, even though it's in the first 50-hour maintenance check. I'm going to look into it further to see if I can figure out how to do it, because if it says do it, I'd like to do it so that my warranties are good, and well, more than that, just so that I'm taking care of the tractor to my best ability. But I'm not going to worry about it like on the nose 50 hours. I can do that as time goes on. I got to get these major things taken care of so I can hook up that box blade, I can start scraping it, filling in these holes, so we'll stop getting mud puddles when it rains and breeding mosquitoes. That's my priority. Also, we're gonna get a truckload of gravel, 3/4 inch right here. Hopefully tomorrow morning. It's gonna rain all night, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to get up in here. Then, gentleman with the skid steer, he's gonna come, he's gonna do a little grading in here, take a fork and hit these high points. I'll be videotaping that. Videotaping it. I'm back in my Bob Ross days. I'll be recording that, and we'll show you how we're going to get concrete in here and what we're going to do with this thing. We're also going to put concrete around the perimeter on the outside of this building, at least on both sides and the front. It's going to be awesome. And I've already told you about the fact there's going to be a tiny house up front here. You're going to get to see all that come together. So, all right, let me do a little reading. I'll be right back with you. All right, so after some more looking at the tractor to find any other lube points, I couldn't find any more. And so, at least, you know, not in that vicinity. There are other lube points that we've done on the loader, and there's probably some that you have to do at other intervals, but I think maybe I hit them all. I realized that I'm gonna need to double check with a service guy over at the dealership. They're, like I said, they're good folks, so they'll tell me. But we've got some storms moving in. You can see a little bit of the darkness up in the sky. I can hear thunder rumbling, but of course you can hear the car rumbling too. But yeah, there's some thunder coming. Yeah, I just felt a raindrop on my arm. So I think I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm gonna pray that we can get that load of gravel in here tomorrow. But yeah, you can see where I've lined up these torches. I'll come all the way back. So where these torches are lined up through there in front of the building, that's 10 feet out from the building. I just threw those up there to give myself a little reference point. But that's where the concrete's going to come to, and it's going to go up there 10 feet out from the building as well. It's going to do the same thing on the other side. So where I'm standing now, that will be concrete. Of course, we'll have concrete inside. We can put a swing here on a day like this. Shut this car off so you can hear me better. But on a day like this, man, we can sit out here and just hear the rain come in. Look at the clouds out there and see the view of the hills out in the distance. And if you've watched the channel and you've stuck around, you'll know that the permanent house, this is just a barn. It's going to have a little camping space in it, if you want to call it that, tiny house, whatever. But the permanent space is going to be over here, and this is the view that we're going to be able to wake up to and enjoy. Now, when you I hope you can see it with this camera. I can't zoom in with this GoPro. In the fall, of course, more of the leaves are going up through there, and you can see 3 mountain peaks. The one in the middle is the pointy one, kind of points, and then there's 2 gradual sloping on each side. Get all this brush that we got piled up around here burned out. Clean this up, get our driveway going. Get some equipment sheds built so we can put our equipment in. I hate so bad that I'm leaving this thing out in the elements right now. And like I said, last time I cut, my truck was in the shop, so I just threw some stuff in the Nissan over there, and I had to come back with a broom and sweep off all the grass that was on top of this. So that's what you see piled up there. Instead of normally, I park down there, I take my blower and I blow it off multiple times throughout the 7-hour period that I'm cutting all that field, so that I don't ever have these big piles anywhere, especially up here. That won't happen again, and this will never look this dirty again. Hopefully, if we do get some good rain, it's going to wash this off and clean it up real good. Luckily, all the paint's intact except where this thing is, right, the wings are raising. It's obviously scratching the paint off as it raises and lowers. It's doing that on both sides. So my concern obviously is rust ever forming. Got to come back, top off these gearboxes, and make sure that they're good to go before I do another cut, which I've got to do a cut as soon as possible. We've got 2 good days next week, Monday and Tuesday. Today is Wednesday, so Monday and Tuesday of next week we've got no rain in the forecast at the moment, and so I hope that one of those days I can be out there cutting that field, because if it gets too full or too tall, too thick, even though this is a 3150, I have noticed this thing is starting to get bogged down a little bit, not much, but you know, my RPMs are set at 540, and I typically put it in 2nd gear, and then I put it in 4th on my other. So the lower gears in 2nd, the higher gears in 4th. Typically, that gives me about 4.5 to 4 3/4 miles per hour. But I just want to show you guys, and here you can hear the rain coming. But I want to show you guys this pasture, this field. When I bought this place, you guys can look at the first cutting I did, and I'm probably going to be on cutting number 8 this time, I think. But the grass just sprung up and it's thick. And I'm not talking about this grass up here in these woods. Obviously that's not doing well, but I'm still surprised it's doing as good as it is. But out there in the actual field, man, it's beautiful. It's so thick. I think we could actually use it for hay or for pasture for cows. We've got a good contact I'm going to be speaking with about some cows and see what makes sense up here. Oh, you can hear the rain now. And you can see it coming down out there in the field. I better get myself back up here toward the barn and toward the truck. But hey, you guys, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you. If you haven't done this so far, seriously subscribe to my channel. It will help this get out to other people, and if nothing else, this might be a good time for you to chill out and feel good about yourself because you do things in a much smarter and better way than I do. But maybe you'll actually learn from my mistakes, and together we can grow and we will enjoy this lovely place together. Have a great one. Talk to you soon.